Hey there, you're tuning in to LowKey by Oaky, our easygoing sessions for hotel professionals where we chat about industry trends, issues, and solutions.
Hello, and welcome to episode 30 of LowKey by Oaky, the podcast for hospitality and more. My name is Clément Denarier, and I'm very proud and happy to be the host of this podcast. And I'm so honored to welcome Jean Buche. Finally, Jean, you made it to the podcast. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. Today, we have an exciting topic, I think very exciting. It's all about growth and expansion. And what I hope we can discuss about is basically how to deal with expansion, strategize when a portfolio of hotels or a scope keeps on expanding. And for that, there is no better person than Jean Buche, who is VP of Revenue Management for Leonardo Hotels. Welcome again, Jean. Super happy to have you here.
Good morning, Amsterdam. Thank you for having me. My name is Jean. I'm in charge of revenue management for Leonardo Hotels. I'm currently taking care of UK and Ireland. I'm doing distribution as well. Previously, I was doing the same job for Central Europe. And that's me.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. And there already, you said it, expansion or at least change of scope, right? You started from one region and you continue to another one. Maybe we can start from kind of taking a step back. And when you hear the word expansion, what is it that comes up first? Is it pressure? Is it opportunity? Is it chaos? Is it excitement?
In the question, you didn't have excitement, but yes, excitement. Excitement is a word. So in my background, I started at Leonardo Hotels 17 years ago.
So 17 years ago.
I started, we had 10 hotels in Europe. Now we have altogether about 300.
Wow.
So it's the pace has been good. Excitement because look, it's we work in hospitality business because it's about human, it's about service, it's about experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's about culture. So every new destination comes with new culture, new people, new processes, new law, new regulation as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's there is always a lot to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And genuinely, we work in the hospitality business because we love people and we love service. So growing, it's giving us a chance to give more love to more destination, to offer more product to our guests as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all about that. So it's excitement. Of course, there is challenges, but it's the main part is fun.
Yeah. And so 17 years in one company, and going from 10 to 300 hotels and more. This is also expansion on its own, right? Specifically for your scope. Is that also what made you stay for so long, that there is this learning, this excitement, this growth, this expansion?
Yes. So 17 years, it's the same company, but I feel that I work in probably 10 different companies because we don't operate and we don't manage. We don't. It's every stage. Between 10 and 20, we have a specific stage. Then we can go to 50. Then we need to review all the processes. We need to update them.
Mm-hmm.
We need to change the so we don't work the same way in a small structure than in a big structure. In a small structure, we used to everybody used to do everything, so to be multitask. In big structures, you have much more processes. Now, in addition, we are a public company. So public company means that we have a lot of additional regulation to follow, more audits. It's what is absolutely fine. It's just that it's not the same organization in a big one than in a small one.
Yeah, super interesting. And I imagine kind of being part of this change, at some point you have to realize, wait, we are not that smaller structures, that smaller organization that we were maybe 3, 4, 5 years ago, because the portfolio size has doubled, right? So there is consequences to that.
It's portfolio, but it's also the product. When I started at Leonardo, it was more Leonardo Hotels, 4-star, 100 rooms, this type of chain.
Mm-hmm.
But very slowly, so slowly, actually fast, we went to open the Leonardo Royal brand, which is 4-star plus with conference business, which is different operation. Then we went to open the Nix Hotel, which is lifestyle brand, which is all about music experience. Yes, there is a expansion, but also in terms of what we can offer. Today we operate hotels in some resort properties in Ibiza, in Mallorca. It's a different business than a city center hotel that is a business hotel. Totally. So it's like one company, but a lot of different businesses.
Yeah, and I imagine that expansion, both in volume but also in depth of different brands, different concepts, keeps you on your toes all the time, right? You mentioned the pace of growth. I am personally very impressed with indeed how Leonardo kind of went from more of a local player with a lot of properties in Central Europe and obviously in Israel as well, into now a very strong European, pan-European brand. I just read that you acquired 23 properties in just 1 year. I'm curious about this. How do you deal with that, right? Did something, is there something that you learned from it that allowed you to kind of not break it all, right? Because that's a huge portfolio to acquire in once.
It is, yeah. So the structure of Leonardo Hotels is we divided the business in Europe in different business units. So we have some local team with local knowledge that will be able to drive this growth. So when you take 23 hotels, it's not 23 hotels in the same country. It will be split it between different teams, and so therefore, but you know, the philosophy and the approach is to be humble and to be always positive, and we just take all this chance. I mean, it sounds a lot, but I was thinking about it when long time ago when we started to really grow, and I was thinking, but when I see all companies that are going down, I mean, I need to be happy that I'm part of a company that is growing, because we don't have this kind of thematic of downsizing, taking people out. It's more about we are growing, and it's a chance.
Yeah. How to keep on growing, how to grow in the right way, right? Without kind of too much. Sometimes growth is also dangerous, right? If you don't take it the right way, it can be something that actually breaks a company, or at least makes it more fragile rather than stronger.
Yes, in every decision we take, we kind of evaluate a risk, and it's to make we don't make a blind bet just to say, okay, we put all our eggs in the same basket. I mean, it might be a French a French say, but we don't put our eggs in the same basket. So it's just a question of how we manage and how we calculate the risk, and then we work. We always approach it in a humble way. Our main goal is to bring great service to the guest, great experience. When we want to bring something positive, usually something positive happens.
I love that. I love that. Jean, so you are obviously leading a commercial team, a commercial department. You mentioned that you've expanded and you've diversified brands, countries, cultures, types of people. Maybe you can tell one commercial tip or commercial rule. You can give that to our listeners that works everywhere, and one that you had to break, that you thought worked everywhere, but actually, well, it didn't.
Look, whatever experience we have, any new market, we approach it in a way that we don't take any preconception of rules. Something that might work in a place might not work in another place. So we need to review everything, all the process, and as a revenue manager, we look at data. We don't look at just somebody saying, "Oh, it's good" or "It's not good." We look at data to evaluate how things are working. Also, with time, things change. You might try something today that will not work, but next year it might work. So in general, the revenue philosophy is to try and try again, and always learn from it. And when you have something that is working, then to try in several places and to implement potentially in the whole chain.
Mm.
So that's the only rule is I know one thing is that I don't know anything. So it's an approach. I don't. Yeah, Socrates.
So you really start from this humble perspective again of actually I know nothing, right? I'm here to learn, and I keep on experimenting and keep on testing, and whatever works, then I can potentially duplicate that in other areas.
Yeah. Look, we also have experience. I mean, uh, I work with different partners, different tools,
Mm.
different PMS, different. There is this background. Um, we need a deep understanding today in technology. Um, I mean, at least on what can be done and what cannot be done.
Mhm.
So it's not that we don't come without experience or knowledge. It's just that we don't make any preconception that what we know is good. You know, it's not. It might it might not work. You know,
Mm.
it's we need to be respectful
Yeah.
of every destination, every country. Also, the guest. You know, guests might have different experience or expectation. A guest visiting Krakow
Mm.
might have a different expectation than the guest going to Madrid or Barcelona.
Mm.
So there is no one rule.
Mm. Mm. I want to come back on what you just said about specifically technology. Obviously, this is also where we try to help hotels and hotel groups scale. And you mentioned the importance of tools, especially when there is growth. How do you manage to actually find the right tools or partners that help you with the growth, right? Because it could be that you have, again, for a company of 10 or 30 hotels, um, great partners, but they don't fit anymore for 300. So how do you manage to kind of keep your partners afloat with your growth at the same time?
So one thing that we have been always very focused is to have some scalable partners.
Mhm.
So to be able to go fast, to go to work with systems that can connect in a fast way, without. So you know, some systems are less flexible, some systems are more flexible.
Mm.
Technology uh, is 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 getting better and better. So
Yeah.
in general, it's easier, but we need to always take some systems that can be scalable
Mm.
and then uh, if we need to, we always have our goal in front of us, and if we need to go fast, we go fast,
Mm.
and we cannot we cannot take everything. Uh, we, the my one of my mentor always told me the enemy of good is perfection.
Mhm.
So if we aim to have everything perfect in order to make the next step, you you might be stagnating
Yeah.
and be stuck.
Yeah.
So we need to bring results. We need to move, and we need the right partner. In terms the by right partners, that means to have the right contact people. You know, the right account manager that you can trust, that you can keep for a long time, that you can know as well personally
Mm.
it's not just uh, uh, if you need to help on the topic, and you have the number of your account manager in your
Yeah.
pocket, that can give you some keys, that you will go faster.
Yeah.
So and to do that, to have that in place, it's just to work respectfully with all your partners.
Yeah, and create that relationship that you have. Um, one topic that I kind of I hear coming back and back, and that makes sense because that's also what happened in Leonardo Hotels is the speed, right? So going fast in itself is also a goal because you have to keep up, of course, with the expansion and with the growth that comes in. Um, as a leader of people, how do you manage to get your entire team to go at the same pace that is set, right? And that might be too fast for some people and might be, I don't know, too slow for others. I'm not sure if you guys are ever too slow for for team members.
Look, it's uh, first I'm always interested in people,
Mm.
whatever it's a client or partners or a team member. So this close relationship is helping. Second thing is, as a leader, if I see something positively, I can bring this energy to the team.
Mm.
If I would see, if I would only focus on challenges and be negative, the mood will be very bad.
Yeah.
So we need to set the mood, and then we need to learn to have the right state of mind in place, to remind everybody that what we do is what we do, and maybe some other might be doing better in some aspect. But then, if that's the case, it's okay. Let's learn
Mm.
about it. Let's improve, and always looking at improvement. In general, so one of the philosophy of revenue management is whatever we perform, we aim to always do better. Next year we will do better. The year after we will do better. We always aim on getting better. And we can only get better by reviewing what we did, learning from what we did. We cannot we can the day I will say what we achieved was perfect. It's probably the day my boss will need to take me out of the business because that means I cannot bring anything more.
Yeah. You've reached the potential, and
Yeah.
that's the ceiling. Question on maybe a bit of a tactical question. The growth that we've seen with Leonardo has happened outside of territories, but also inside of specific territories. So I'm curious to maybe your return on experience from I don't know, adding a new hotel in a portfolio that is actually potentially competing with existing hotels. How do you deal with that? Right? Is there some sort of like internal competition? How do you avoid cannibalism of demand in a specific market?
Um, well, uh, this kind of thematic came to me as well. As a matter of fact, so it's something that we have been discussing with some colleagues. But as a matter of fact, when there is an hotel project, we can bid on it. But if we don't get it, somebody else will get it, and it
Mhm.
will be anyway an hotel.
Mhm.
So we have a situation in Munich, for instance, where we have two hotels in front of each other. One is a Leonardo Hotels, the other one is a Nix Hotel. Um, if it will not have been us uh, managing to get the second hotel, it would have been, I don't know, another brand. So now, having that in mind, it will be easier for me to manage the business if I manage both hotels. Because if it's the hotel in front of the road is a competitor, it's
Yeah.
it will be more challenging. So as a matter of fact, it's like no need to be afraid, because at the end it needs to happen. And an hotel project, when an investor, so somebody is making a building permit, it will be an hotel. So there's no choice.
Yeah. So it will be a hotel anyways. It might as well be yours. And at least if it's inside of the same portfolio, you can agree and discuss strategies so that it doesn't compete as much as what the competitor would bring in potentially.
For the case I mentioned this case in Munich. So what we did is we established two different hotel brands.
Mhm.
One is a lifestyle hotel. The other one is more a Leonardo, nice 4-star, very popular, but very very nice, but normal hotel. Let's say, business hotel 4-star.
Yeah.
The other one is a lifestyle hotel. So we had the chance, because we took over we took the project. We had the chance to decide what we wanted to offer the guest.
Mm.
It could have been another chain that would want to, or another operator that will want to take exactly the same type of product,
Mm.
and then it will be kind of
Yeah.
probably less interesting for the area, for the
Mm.
market, for us.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. So you kind of took your destiny in your own hands and actually created two different segments and different strategies. Very, very interesting. Another tactical question that I'm sure our listeners will be curious about, and you can be as specific as you want or not. But when you enter a new market, right? So let's imagine there is some more growth that happens in Leonardo. You enter a completely new market. What is the first commercial action that you would take in order to learn, to understand the market, and really kind of grow from there?
Most of the market where we develop were with some takeover. One step that is, I think, essential is not about revenue management or commercial. It's to understand the tax structure,
Hmm.
because it's not the same tax and the same rules in every countries. So we need to understand that, because we will need to have it set up in a correct way. A lot of, if a so VAT is one easy tax that everybody knows, but in some countries there is very few city tax or levy tax, whatever you call it. In some countries there is, and so we need to have an understanding of that, because it will impact some of the business practice.
Hmm. Hmm.
So actually, the first thing that we need to do is to have a proper audit of the financial tax
Yeah.
aspect.
Yeah, yeah. So rules, regulations, laws first, because that's something you can't change, obviously, and you need to apply to them. And then on top of that, you build a commercial strategy.
Yeah, yes, yeah. Commercial, it's m- we operate in different type of destination, but most of the hotel are in city center, relatively well located. So big destination, A and B destination in city center. So there is a pattern.
Yeah.
Um, there is some. If there is some partners that will be strong in every destination. If you take the big OTA,
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter if it's which country it is.
Mm.
The big OTA are big OTAs, and they will be strong in all the market.
Yeah.
In terms of learning, one thing that is interesting when we take over an hotel is, there is some experts that we can always call. So if we work with, if we take a new destination, we can manage to get a call with a market manager from the OTA that will have a deep in the understanding of the destination, that can explain us some things that we might not be aware,
Yeah.
like a specific area, some in a we have some resources.
Yeah.
It's just that sometimes we just need to ask.
Mm.
it just
Yeah, yeah.
it's not yeah.
And they are, of course, the experts of that market, right? They've seen it. They've seen it across brands. They've seen patterns when it comes to demand, to guest types, and all of that. So use that because it's available to you if you ask.
Yeah, it just to ask. It just to it's not very complicated. It's
Mm.
some of the resources are just in front of us.
Yeah.
Just us to pick it up.
It almost sounds easy, Jean. It almost sounds easy.
But it's a lot of work. It's taking over an hotel. There is a lot of processes, but it's one of the steps that is important.
Yeah. And it sounds like, again, this is part of your learning, starting humble, allowing to ask for help or ask questions around in order to get that expertise that is there from the local players. Very interesting. Maybe another question when it comes to leading people. You have led people during the growth and during fast growth, right? So again, we come back to that dimension of speed. What is it that you wish someone had told you before you started this entire journey?
The first big takeover I was part of, I was very stressed, and I was probably not the nicest person to work with at this time. But what it just I would have wished that someone tell me, okay, we are doing it, breathe, relax, and have fun, because it's whatever challenges we will find on the way,
Mm.
there will be, and every expansion or every new group of hotel will come with some specific challenges. It can be technical, very often it's technical. It can be some, but every expansion has its own story.
Mhm.
And in one case, we might find that we have an issue with a payment system that will not be compatible with our environment. We might find that the hotel is just sign a contract with some another IT partner that we don't work with for 5 years, and and we might have a surprise that we to break the contract will be complicated. Every expansion has a story, but it's either we stagnate or we move on. So and we are on the way to so our philosophy is to move on. One thing that I maybe is important to have in mind, the Leonardo Hotel Group is we have 300. It's not only a brand. We operate our properties, so it's our own brand and we operate. It's not the same than companies like Marriott. So all the mega chain, they operate as well some hotels, but it's not the core of their business. So it's a bit different perspective, especially when we are speaking with our partners.
Yeah, yeah, because you really have this operating at heart, right? Kind of service, bring back that promise to the guest, and I imagine to your other partners.
But it's easier, It's I can imagine for a brand, for a mega chain, it's they need to establish a kind of culture. They need to establish some training, but they need to do that for some hotels that they don't operate. For me, if I operate and I can simply go there and speak with the people, and I have more impact, and I think it's easier. But it's
Amazing. So, if I have to summarize one of the tips that you would give yourself, if you would go back maybe 12 years or 15 years before the first big expansion, is breathe and have fun and move on. And I think on that, we're also going to move on. And thank you so much, Jean, for this very insightful exchange. We are getting to the time of the shameless plug. So this is your opportunity, if you want to actually plug something. It can be personal, it can be professional. It's up to you.
And what can I say? Work with love, have fun, enjoy, and I give you some of the time to plug whatever you want.
I mean, I think this is amazing. What you've mentioned here is also maybe plugging the industry, right? We love to work with people. You have to create relationships. You have to create, or at least you have to love working on relationship, working with people.
Somehow, if you don't do it, you're probably in the wrong industry. It's you can. As a joke, insider joke of hospitality business. I mean, if you don't have that in mind, you can work for a bank.
Yes.
Yeah. Nothing against bank.
nothing against bank. We also need banks, obviously, to make the hospitality industry work. But I think this is an amazing plug for the industry, right? For the love of the industry. I am super passionate about this industry, and the people that work in it also make that. So I think you're one of these people. And again, I'm so happy that we could make this moment happen. A fellow Frenchman as well, that feels very, very good. So thank you for that, Jean. And I think we're going to now wrap up. All right. Thank you so much to all our listeners. This was episode 30 on growth and expansion. If I have to summarize the great insights that you gave us, Jean, it's all about when you want to grow fast, when you want to expand and still be respected by all your partners and obviously your team, it's all about starting very humble. It's all about learning and keeping on developing, obviously building experience and using that experience for every single step. It's also about creating relationships and using these to go fast, hopefully not break too many things, but always do better one step after the other. And finally, have fun. Breathe and have fun.
I add one thing. It's to be very open. There is a lot of startup in our industry. When we first met together, you were with Eric at this time running ITB, probably with a stolen pass. I don't know. No,
Probably.
but it's without. So you were just beginning the journey. I think it's important, to be open to meet new people, and for sure you need to manage your time, but always to try to if you can support, if you can help, if you can give some tips to some people, because it's I think it's part of the cycle. It's if you do some good, if you offer some time of yourself, things will come good again. It's a cycle.
And we finish with karma. I love this. Thank you so much, Jean. This was LowKey by Oaky. See you next time.
Thank you for having me. Bye.